Hey guys, Justin here, and today I'm talking about one of the best ultralight pots in the market, the Evernew Titanium Pasta Pot. I'm going to go over the specs, what I like about this pot, what I don't like about it, and who I think this pot would be perfect for. So I have here the 1 liter version of the Pasta Pot. It also comes in a 750 milliliter version. It's made by Evernew and is part of their Ultralight line and comes in at 116 grams. It achieves that weight by being made out of 0.3 millimeter titanium plating and has the perfect dimensions to be able to fit an 8-ounce fuel canister in it. So what are some of the things I like about this pot? First up is the lid. It has a snap-on lid that you just put onto the front and then it snaps in on the back and won't fall off if it's just an empty pot and you have nothing in it. If you do put anything into the pot, then I recommend grabbing an elastic and putting it over top of the pot in order to keep the lid on. Because if you do have something in there like a fuel canister or a stove, the weight of that banging around in your pack is probably going to knock the lid off. The other nice thing with the lid is these holes at the spout. These holes are really great if you want to strain pasta or any sort of other food item. You also have that spout on the front, which makes it really easy to pour things. You get a nice stream as opposed to having water going everywhere. If you've ever used backpacking pots before, you know they can get quite warm when they're on the stove. The Evernew Pasta Pot has these nice silicone coated handles here so that when you grab the pot, the handles aren't too hot and won't burn you. There's also volume markers on the inside and outside of the pot, so you can easily measure how much water you need for that dehydrated meal or freeze-dried meal that you brought with you from the store. So two other things I think are great about this pot are how durable it is, as well as how lightweight it is. 116 grams is really light for a pot, especially a 1 liter one, and you'd think you'd have some durability problems, but hasn't been an issue at all for me. I also really like the size of the 1 liter pot. If you've seen my previous video on my cook system, you know that I also have a 700 milliliter Toaks titanium pot. But the nice thing about the 1 liter is that it can fit the 8-ounce fuel canister in it. Just like that, you can fit a couple other things on top there. And you can also fit a ton of food. I eat quite a bit for dinner while I'm on the trail, and I can have a full meal in here, simmering and stirring, and it'll fit it all no problem. The 1 liter size is also great if you're trying to boil water for a meal, as well as some sort of hot beverage, or if you have 2 people that you're trying to boil water for. The 1 liter capacity would easily boil enough water for dehydrated meals or freeze-dried meals for 2 people or even 3 people. So I've been using this pot for probably the last 5 or 6 months, and there's definitely some things that I don't like about it. First up has to do with the lid. So if you have the lid on here, it will fall off if it's bouncing around or if it just has a little bit of pressure on it. One of the things that I would have liked to perhaps seen, even though it would have added a bit of weight, would be a little bit of a latch on the back here. Because it scoops onto the spout really well, a latch on the back would have held the lid on perfectly, and you never would have had to deal with an elastic or the lid falling off. A slightly bigger pot would have been nice too. While a liter is great, I think 1200 milliliters would have been perfect for me, and that's just my own personal preference. Some people get by perfectly with the 1 liter, some people will get by with something even smaller like the 750 milliliter version, but 1200 milliliters would have been great for me because it gives me a little bit more room if I'm simmering food in here. When I have a full pot of food, it definitely gets close to the top and I lose some food off the edges every little once in a while. I'm having to eat food off the floor. Another thing I don't really like about this pot, and it isn't something that's just specific to this pot, is that titanium isn't great for simmering. I have been simmering more of my meals lately, and titanium doesn't simmer well at all. You have to stir quite often. You don't get as good of heat dissipation across the entire pot like you do with an aluminum or stainless steel pot. This thing's also super expensive. It's $66 on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description to this video, and that's quite a bit to spend on a pot. Titanium pots are generally more expensive, but you can get an aluminum pot for much, much cheaper, and it'll have a lot of the same features. So do I think the Evernew Pasta Pot is worth it? I think so. There's a lot of other pots within this price range, but none of them are really gonna give you as many features like the handles, the lid, the spout, the volume markers, and have the same kind of durability and weight savings that you'd get with the Evernew Pasta Pot. So if you are looking for a full featured 1 liter pot, definitely consider the Evernew Pasta Pot. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.